happy Wednesday, January 18th, 2023, and welcome to a brand new year edition of what we like to call the Clash of the Champions. I'm your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, in the flesh as always, and this man right here needs no introduction, but he will give you one anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, none other than your life of the party, your co-host on this wonderful wrestling podcast show that we call the Clash of Champions. What's up, Kurt? How you been?
Been great, man. It's been a nice little start to the new year. The last few weeks have been pretty good. I've been in pretty good spirits. We have a lot to look forward to coming up, including the Raw 30th anniversary this Monday and also the Royal Rumble next Saturday.
Hell yeah! That's funny that the Royal Rumble's coming up because then the fact that it's in the Alamo Dome because recently the San Antonio Spurs had their basketball game in the Alamo Dome. They broke the NBA regular season attendance record.
Yes, they did in a loss to the Golden State Warriors. That game was this past Friday, and yes, that was a very history-making attendance, and I think it might be broken by Royal Rumble next weekend. Very strong possibility.
Of course, of course. But it was just funny to see that how like oh yeah we're seeing a basketball game in that same stadium and then 2 weeks later the Royal Rumble's going to be there.
Madness, bro. Yes,
Hmm.
it's January. The road to WrestleMania is gonna kick off very soon. And yes, as a wrestling fan, this is definitely the best time of the year. But before we get into the fun stuff, we have to get into a little bit of sad news. As yesterday, Jay Brisco of the Briscoes from Ring of Honor died in a car accident.
Only 38 years old, man.
38 years old. And also, what makes this even worse is that his daughter was in the car with him.
Damn. So him and his daughter passed away.
No, his daughter's in critical condition as of now, but yes, he has died. He has passed away.
Did they say what kind of accident was it? Was it just like just at a like in a four-way stop or I mean what are like the details on the crash itself, do we know?
Those haven't come out yet. I haven't seen any of those details yet, but I just found out yesterday that the dude just died in a car accident. And it's crazy that just last month, him and his partner, as part of the Briscoes, had one of the best matches of the year against FDR, the dog collar match. And yeah, it's just messed up. This dude, the Briscoes are considered one of the best tag teams in the entire world, up there with FDR and the Usos and every other top team you can think of. And now, unfortunately, this dude is no longer with us.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Me too, man. I really feel for his
Oh,
family.
yeah.
And there was just an overwhelming amount of tweets and people showing love for the dude last night after this all happened, including Triple H, including Dax Harwood of FDR, CM Punk. Sami Zayn had a very heartfelt tweet he put out, as well as and Jericho. Jericho's tweet went like this: "Please pray for Jay Briscoe's family. Trust me, this is worse than you think."
And I heard about this like when you before you went on the air, you first told me about this. I was like, "What?" And I know I've been off of social media for a little bit though, but just regardless, hearing about this is just is very heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's horrible. I feel for his brother, Mark Briscoe. I feel for his family, his wife, his kids. I sincerely hope his daughter's okay and she pulls through. And also his like all of his peers in the wrestling industry. It's the dude was in Ring of Honor for 20 years. Him and his brother.
Damn. Rest in peace, and we'll hope and pray for the best for his daughter. We hope that and pray that his daughter pulls through on all this.
And he had just posted a picture of himself, like just joking around, just a few hours before too.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's fucked up, man. It's just one of those things where you could literally be here 1 minute and just gone the next.
That reminds me of what's his name? That one I think he's a DJ who's on the Ellen DeGeneres show.
Yeah, I heard about that story.
He had literally just posted like a funny video of himself with his family, and then like the next day he commits suicide.
Freaking sad, man. I didn't really know who that guy was personally, but that's still a
Me
horrible story
neither.
regardless.
Yeah, to hear about suicide, man, especially at that young age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And also as a family at that too, and also other people who cared about him. Yeah, it's a fucked up situation. But this situation is also fucked up in the sense that you could just be going out for a drive or just going out for like a regular day thing, and then you never know when it could be your last.
Right.
There was even a shooting that happened by my job like less than 2 weeks ago. Like right after I got off. Like I got home from work, and then all of a sudden I see the stories from my friends from work on Instagram, and all of them are talking about like some shooting that happened right, literally right by work, like just a few feet away from us.
Literally right by your job.
Yeah, in a mall food court, some one kid shot another kid over an argument, and yeah, it was a whole crazy scene.
Damn.
I was creeped. I remember being creeped out about the Vegas shooting because I lived only 10 minutes away from that place, and also I had just passed by it the Friday before. But this is some different shit. I was literally like just a few feet away from where this shit all happened. How that food court I was just at a few weeks ago.
Damn.
Yeah, crazy world we live in, man.
Man, not a good look.
Not a good look at all. But yeah, condolences to Jay Brisco and his family. And I'm gonna be watching some of their matches later. I heard they had like a great trilogy with FDR last year that were pretty much considered not even one single one alone as match of the year, but all three of them as a collection were considered the match of the year.
Wow.
Very high praise. Yeah, and they're the Ring of Honor tag team champions, and it's gonna be his birthday next week too.
Let's see. Oh yeah.
This kind of reminds me of Marvin Gaye because Marvin Gaye died actually the day before his birthday, literally
Oh.
killed by his own dad too. Yeah, but in any event, yes, condolences to Jay Briscoe and his family. Just such a crazy story that came out of nowhere. I know you're probably not that familiar with his work, and also I'm not as familiar with his work either. But considering all the tweets we've seen put out ever since yesterday and how big of a story this is, this dude definitely left his mark on the wrestling business and definitely was somebody who mattered and who will definitely be missed.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, indeed. And also, there's some more bad news that's come out over the last few weeks since the new year. Vince McMahon is officially back as chairman of the board of WWE.
Ay. And you sent me a report that Stephanie McMahon has left, correct?
Yes, a few days after Vince officially came back, Stephanie McMahon put out a statement officially announcing her resignation, and it goes like this. About 8 months ago, I took a leave of absence and within a few weeks, unexpectedly had the opportunity of a lifetime. I had the privilege to return as the co CEO and chairwoman of the board of WWE. I cannot put into words how proud I am to have led what I consider to be the greatest company in the world, working alongside a remarkable leadership team and one of the strongest executives I have known in my co CEO, Nick Khan. Our founder, Vince McMahon, has returned as executive chair and is leading an exciting process regarding strategic alternatives. And with Nick's leadership and Paul Triple H Levesque as chief content officer, I am confident WWE is in the perfect place to continue to provide unparalleled creative content and drive maximum value for shareholders. WWE is in such a strong position that I have decided to return to my leave and take it one step further with my official resignation. I look forward to cheering on WWE from the other side of the business where I started when I was a little kid as a pure fan. I will always remain dedicated to WWE. I truly love our company, our employees, our superstars, and our fans. And I am grateful to all of our partners. Thank you for everything. Then, now, forever, together.
Hmm.
That's some heavy shit.
Yeah, it is. But do you think she did this because Vince came back, or just something that like this is like the right time for me to do it?
I'm sure she probably wants to spend more time with her family, and I know her leave got cut short last year because of the whole Vince scandal and everything. So it's a possibility she might want to go back to her original plans, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if a big part of it was also because Vince is back. Because there's stories going around now that they've had like a very tense relationship the last, I guess, couple years, and basically Nick Khan supposedly has to like play the mediator between the two of them.
I mean, that's why I asked you that because like he literally just comes back, and then next thing you know, it wasn't even. It was. It felt like what? It was like a day or 2 days later we get this.
Yeah, basically, the reason why Vince is back is because he wants to help sell the company and like be a part of the whole process.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we said this before, man. I mean, does he? I don't know what more does he has to prove or anything like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm kind of afraid of what the future is going to be like moving forward with all this. That's my fear.
Yeah, because this whole thing just feels all over the place, and like there's a lot of like uncertainty and kind of like a now like a dark cloud over WWE that wasn't there 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this whole thing is now becoming a big distraction. Like the Royal Rumble's coming up, and honestly, as much as I'm looking forward to it, I feel like this whole situation has been kind of taking away from the build and taking away from the interest of that a little bit.
You just gotta see what happens, man. I don't know what. So he's pretty much in a chairman role again, right? So he pretty has like the say now, right? As he used to, right?
Well, he's not head of creative as of now, but he is back to like his position that he was at before, chairman of the board. Only he's not CEO right now. Nick Khan is now the sole CEO.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but he's still like chairman of the board and like running kind of the day to day operations and whatnot. But as
Right.
of now, he's not a part of creative. And Triple H even held a meeting on Friday before SmackDown and also Monday before Raw, like letting everybody know that the creative is going to stay the way it is now. That Vince not isn't back for that. He's only back to spearhead like a sell of the company and nothing more than that. Kind of like trying to ease people's fears and all that good stuff. And look, I sincerely hope that he's not coming back to creative and that it doesn't happen. But I just know that you probably can't trust this dude.
For right now, we'll take it as what it is right now. Us overthinking it is not going to help the situation. If they said that, hey, he's only here for chairman duties, not here for creative control, then by all means take it as it is. So I'm not going to over worry about it.
I don't want to give too much time to it, also, but I'm just hoping if God forbid he does come back to creative, it's not until like after WrestleMania.
I don't want him to come back. Period.
I don't either. I sincerely don't either. But at the end of the day, it's still his company, and he holds like majority voting power in the board, and and now he can officially come back if he wants to. Even those stories that came out last month that he was saying the only reason why he stepped down was because he took a lot of bad advice.
Yeah.
And now that the investigation's over and all that jazz, now he can come back. And considering this dude's work ethic and the fact that he's been doing this for 40 years, he was probably bored as fuck, and he was like, "Yo, I can't stand this shit. I need to go back to what I was doing every day." I mean, as much as you don't want him to come back, probably from his perspective, that's what it was, and he just can't help himself, even if the company is doing fine without him.
I mean, he's bored, but I don't know, man. It's kind of like you know what when you mention that, kind of gives me Ric Flair vibes. How like he was bored and when he came home, he's like, I gotta get out of here and go back to what I was doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't imagine Vince McMahon having like a Netflix and chill kind of night, or like binge watching a show or some shit like that. I can't imagine him doing that.
That man does not rest.
Yeah, Vince doesn't like to rest. Vince doesn't like vacations. Yeah, he doesn't seem like that fun a guy to be around. Now that you put it that way.
No, I want to say to be not to be fun around. He's just like he's so much. It's work, 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 work type of deal.
And apparently he thinks he can dance. According to Bruce Pritchard, he thinks he's like Vince thinks he's like a really good dancer and that he's unfuckwithable when it comes to his dance moves. Yeah, watch him on the Soul Train line.
I believe he will kill it. After the videos I've seen of him, Kurt, come on.
He probably botched that shit worse than he botched the stunner at WrestleMania last year.
Oh Lord.
I just don't like this whole thing because it's like putting a whole dark cloud over the company that didn't exist 2 months ago. Things were going fine without Vince being around or Vince even being mentioned. Things were like going along so smoothly, and now him coming back is like just throwing everything out of whack. And just Stephanie randomly stepping down like that, it's clear that a big part of it was because of Vince being back.
That's how
Even
I
if she
felt.
wouldn't admit it publicly, yeah, I can definitely tell that it was at least a part of it. At least a
Yeah,
part of it was
that's. I mean, that's how I felt because it was literally. It was like when this was announced. Then a couple days later, you hear that Stephanie steps down. I'm just like something that doesn't. Something's going on.
And if God forbid Triple H were to step down and get fired, that would really be a problem.
Oh, let's not
I don't,
manifest.
I don't even want to put. Yeah, maybe I should not.
No,
Maybe we should not talk about that anymore.
no, we shouldn't. That period. Let's not manifest that. Like I said before, us overthinking that. Just Yeah, just overthinking the scenarios is not going to help out the situation.
Yeah, and also after it came out that Stephanie resigned, a weird ass story came out saying that the WWE had officially been sold to Saudi Arabia, which turned out to be bullshit actually.
What?
Yeah, for like a good 12 hours, like the main story going around was the WWE was sold to the Saudi government. But apparently that story was super false to the point where the people who put it out initially were really made out to look like clowns.
That's that's weird.
Imagine WWE being owned by the Saudi government. Like if that actually did happen. And it could happen. It could happen. And that, like that story that came out last week ended up being false, but it's something that could happen. It's a very strong possibility.
I mean, why would they sell to the Saudi government? Like, what is it? Financial reasons or?
I mean, obviously, if they were going to sell to them, I'm sure the offer they would be making them would be definitely worth it in that regard. So yeah, it would be that. But apparently, some of the other contenders to buy it are like Fox and Disney, also NBC Universal, and there was even a story coming out that Tony Khan wants to buy it.
Really?
I mean, I wouldn't want to see it happen, but yeah, they even talked about it on CNBC that Tony Khan is somebody who's being considered to buy the company or who might buy the company.
Oh wow. You know, it's another interesting story that I heard. I think it was a couple weeks ago. So apparently, the old WWE headquarters in Sanford, Connecticut, is moving to a different building.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If they move to a new headquarters, that's cool, I guess. It's funny that dude who plays Stingray on Cobra Kai was on AEW last week.
He was.
Yeah, and he mentioned I decided to whenever I'm like in a wrestling mood or I want to like go see wrestling not live, I decided to skip Connecticut and come to AEW.
The fuck.
And then afterwards, he got laid out by a guitar smash from Jeff Jarrett.
I think he won a Golden Globe.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I was trying. I was like, that. I think that's Stingray. I was like, wow, you won a Golden Globe.
Yeah,
Wow,
good for him.
congrats to him.
The kid Tyler James Williams, the kid who played Chris Rock on Everybody Hates Chris, won a Golden Globe for that Abbott Elementary show.
Oh yeah, he did. He did.
I actually watched a few episodes of it. It's pretty good.
Mm.
Shirley Ralph is also on it, the stepmom from Alicia. All right, but anyway, yeah, it would be crazy if WWE gets sold. Like, what it would look like, and what wrestling would be like in general if that were to go down. How we talked about wrestling was never the same after WCW got bought out. Imagine what would happen if WWE got sold.
Oh Jesus, I don't think it would be the same. That's just being weird. Just be to be owned by another government in a different country. Is just weird to me.
But
Uh,
even if it's not them, like imagine like Disney owning WWE or
I
Fox.
oh, I'd rather have NBC own it if I had to pick any. Um, I wouldn't want. Damn it, Disney just owns everything
Yeah, they do
these
own
days.
everything.
Yeah.
NBC would probably be the best option I think out of all of them because like their content is already on Peacock and they've had a
Hmm.
relationship with them going back to like the 80s. So I guess if there
Hmm.
anybody were to buy the company, that would be the best bet. But I also was hearing stories that Triple H and Stephanie were opposed to the company being sold.
Really?
Yeah, maybe that was the reason why Stephanie stepped down because like Vince coming back to try to sell the company maybe didn't sit right with her.
Mm. Told you.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping, fingers crossed, that Vince being back is only him being back to try to sell the company and nothing more. I don't want him to even sniff the creative process. Although it has been coming out that him and Triple H kind of conversations about the whole creative that's going on, and he'll like get I guess feedback from Vince, but it'll still be Triple H's final decision.
Oh yeah, yeah. As it should. As it should. He was put in that position for a reason. Let him do what he needs to do. So.
Yeah, and he's been doing a good job of it at it so far for the most part. Although Raw has been not the greatest lately, I still, like I said, like the show more than I don't like the show nowadays.
Right.
But AEW, I feel like is getting their momentum back now. Like all the issues they were having, like over the summer, and with the whole Punk and Elite situation, I feel like things are starting like to turn around now. I feel like they're like at a better place.
I feel it.
Yeah, every episode of Dynamite, like the last month or so, has been like either good or very good.
Mm. Especially the fact with MJF as the champion, so that helps out a lot.
Yeah, he was going off on the celebrities that were at Dynamite last week. He went off on that dude from The Hangover, the Asian dude.
Hmm.
Yeah, he was sitting in the audience and he was talking shit to him. And Freddie Prinze Jr. was sitting in the front row and he started talking shit to him too.
Oh my god, that's not a surprise to hear that. You know what I mean? That's tip.
He was mentioning like she's all that, and he was like mentioning how like Freddie Prinze Jr. was just a supporting character for a freaking dog in a movie like the Scooby Doo movies.
Oh man,
He called him a Scooby douchebag or some shit like that.
damn.
Yeah, dude stays roasting people, but yeah, well, yeah, they were at the Forum in LA. They were at the LA Forum, and yeah,
Oh.
they had the finals of the best of seven between the Elite and Death Triangle, and it was a ladder match for the trios titles. The shit
Mhm.
was madness. First
Wow.
game seven in that arena since the game seven between the Lakers and Pistons in 1988,
But
which the Pistons should have won.
they didn't.
Nah, they didn't. I'm just talking shit. They should have won game six from like the stories that came out.
Um,
Yeah, that was the game where Isaiah Thomas like injured his ankle and he scored like 44 points. And like
yeah.
there was like a foul that didn't get called or something, and then the Lakers ended up winning like at the last minute. Yeah, they only won by 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in any event, it's nice to see AEW doing better these days. And Mercedes Monet did not show up at Dynamite last Wednesday. Like people thought she was going to. She was not Soraya's tag team partner, but she did show up at Wrestle Kingdom 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
got a lot of
Yeah.
attention.
Of course. That was all over social media. Oh my goodness. All over. Saw that Mercedes Monet is the new name now.
Yeah, and she's gonna be going against Kyrie Sane, I believe, next month over there.
Mm.
I saw that Naomi and Bailey were also there to support her.
Oh, that's good. That's good. What do you? I like the debut. I know you liked it.
Of course, it's just
Yeah.
nice to see her involved in wrestling again.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, man, that was all over the place. All over.
Yeah, definitely got a lot of attention. Like, definitely a different look that threw me off.
Her hair too, though.
Yeah, her hair was very, very. What's the word I'm looking for?
Different.
Different.
Different. Unique.
Somebody said it reminded them of Bam Bam Bigelow's tights.
I can see, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a rumor that had been going around for weeks that she was going to be there, and then she ended up showing up. People were kind of criticizing the debut in the sense that she messed up the move she was doing to Kyrie Sane. Yeah, you could like tell it didn't go the way it was supposed to. But whatever. With that aside, it accomplished what it needed to, and that was to create a buzz surrounding her. And we'll see where she ends up as the year goes on. I guess she wants to, I guess, test the waters.
Gotcha. But I'm glad she's back though. So
Yeah, glad to see her back in wrestling, and who knows, maybe she'll end up in AEW at some point. You never
yeah.
know. Or possibly in the Royal Rumble match. Anything is possible.
Nah, I wouldn't bet on that. I wouldn't honestly. I don't know.
I'm not saying it would happen. I'm just saying you never
Mm.
know. And yes, the Royal Rumble is 10 days away next Saturday, and we have the card shaping up for that event. So let's break it down for you guys real fast.
Okay.
For the Undisputed Universal Championship, we have Roman Reigns defending against Kevin Owens.
Yes.
The title match we actually got at the Royal Rumble the last time it was in the Alamo Dome.
Damn, that's crazy. Let me see if we get this card real quick.
This will be the third time they've wrestled each other for the title at the Royal Rumble. They did it at the Alamo Dome show in 2017. They did
Damn
it
good
2 years
match.
ago. Yeah, but both matches were good. The second match, it kind of sucks that there were no fans there, so that kind of
Yeah.
took away from it a little bit. But it was still a good match nonetheless.
Oh, that was a great match. Oh my god.
And also, we have for the Raw Women's Championship, Bianca Belair defending against Alexa Bliss.
Hmm. And this match right here, what the hell? Between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight, what the hell is a Mountain Dew pitch black match?
I guess we'll find out that night.
Is this like the same concept where they had the in AEW they had the with Orange Cassidy the what's that match?
The mimosa match, like where you had to throw somebody into the mimosa in order to win. The mimosa pool.
Do you think can't? Do you think this is the same situation for this match? You got to throw your opponent in the Mountain Dew. I can't. I
Wow, bro. I don't even think it's gonna be close to that, but who knows?
I mean, but dude, they said it's a Mountain Dew pitch black match. Kurt, come on.
And only using it because Mountain Dew's like marketing that shit.
I just got weird. I literally just got weird Vince McMahon creative vibes from this when I heard about this match. I was like, it was so just not eerie. It was just it was so it really just made like rubbed me off the wrong way when I heard about this match.
Yeah, people are saying Vince is kind of still running things like secretly.
Pitch
Like from
black,
what from watching Raw the last few weeks, people have been like saying that like is like Vince still in charge and like nobody knows about it.
right?
Yeah, but like yeah, the Bray and LA Knight match should be interesting, but I just want to get into the Bianca and Alexa story real fast. They had the match on
Mm.
Raw a few weeks ago where like Alexa like really beat the hell out of her and got disqualified, and Bianca was like bleeding and had to be helped out afterwards. On Raw Monday, they got into it and started fighting in the audience, and as Bianca was about to finish off Alexa, there's like some dude in the shadows who like shows up in the background and just distracts Bianca, and then it allows Alexa like to get the better of her afterwards. And I'm just saying, after watching all this, I sincerely hope this is not how Bianca's title reign ends. I would hate to see that.
In a weird way, you think?
Yeah, like Bianca's been the champion for almost a year. And I know they're trying to build up Alexa Bliss again and all that, but I would hate to see Bianca's title reign end like this.
I don't think it would. You know, they're just doing it like you said, just like you alluded to just earlier, with all this going on. They're just doing it to build to put heat on Alexa Bliss. That's all they're doing. But I don't think she's gonna win.
Yeah, because I'm not sure what's happening with WrestleMania now. Because we heard as a few weeks ago that the Becky and Ronda match for WrestleMania is now off the table, and also Charlotte beat Ronda that same night for the SmackDown Women's title after making her triumphant return after being gone 7 months. But it's not looking like Charlotte and Ronda are going to have a rematch. It looks like Charlotte's now going to feud with Sonya Deville, and that match might possibly get added to the show too. So
Hmm.
yeah, like it's kind of putting things in weird limbo as far as like the women's situation for Mania, especially on the Raw side.
Well, you know what? That's a good thing that you brought this up though, because I wanted to ask you this. Who do you think is gonna win the women's Royal Rumble match?
The way it's looking right now, I hope it's Rhea Ripley.
Hmm.
Who do you think's gonna win?
I could see Rhea Ripley though, but if I had to pick I would. Part of me would like to see Raquel Rodriguez win.
That would be cool.
And the fact, and also let's not forget they're in her home state.
That's true, they are. But I wouldn't rule out Becky winning either. I think that's another possibility too. I
Hmm.
think she could become the first two-time Women's Royal Rumble winner,
Okay.
and maybe she might go against Charlotte, and they might ignite their feud again.
Right.
And we also have the Men's Royal Rumble, and it was announced on Monday that Cody Rhodes is officially coming back for the Men's Royal Rumble match.
My pick.
Mine too. I'm gonna stick to that, but there might be a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble, and if that person is in the Rumble match, I have a feeling that person might win.
Who?
I'll give you a hint. He has a show on NBC that we like a lot. That's about his childhood.
The Rock? No, Kurt. No, no.
He could be in it, bro. It could happen.
Okay, in it, but I don't. No, no, Kurt. After what we've been talking about for the past few months, with after Cody Rhodes' pectoral muscle, his injury, and his comeback being kind of like a little bit short lived last year. No, he needs to win his Royal Rumble. I'm sorry.
I agree with you. It should go down that way, but it was announced on Monday that at the Raw 30th anniversary, this coming Monday, they're going to do an acknowledgement ceremony, including all members of the bloodline and all past generation members of the bloodline, which includes like Rikishi, the Wild Samoans, and everybody else. And there's a chance The Rock might show up for that too.
This upcoming Monday.
Yeah, this Monday on Raw.
Okay.
I think
Uh,
he could show up there, but if he doesn't show up there, he's showing up at the Royal Rumble in some capacity.
okay. But Cody Rhodes is still winning that match.
I hope he does too. I sincerely hope he does. And also, there's another surprise entrant I think might be in the Royal Rumble too.
Really?
And this person was the first ever 3-time winner of the Royal Rumble match.
Austin.
It's possible he could be a surprise entrant in there. It is in Texas.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it could be. He could be a surprise entrant. It's very possible. But yeah, the Rumble show should be good. It'll definitely be better than what the fuck last year's was. So I know that if it can at least be better than last year's, which I think it has a great chance of being, then I think we're in for an enjoyable night.
Yeah.
And speaking of last year's Rumble, Shane McMahon made $826,000 just off of that show alone.
Oh, bro.
Yeah, he was the producer of the match, one of the head producer of the match, and one of the participants in the match. And he got a lot of like bad publicity and a lot of like flack for the way that match turned out. Yeah, and it was so bad that he got sent home like literally right afterwards, and we haven't seen him since.
Damn.
And it's funny now, out of all the McMahons, Vince is the only one left.
Crazy.
Yeah, but I know for sure this Rumble will be better than last year's. And I think another show that should be enjoyable on Monday is the Raw 30th anniversary from Philadelphia.
Can't wait for that. 30 years. Um, I hope they do different with the set.
We'll see, but there's some legends that are going to be returning for this show, which include The Undertaker, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, the Bella Twins, Teddy Long, as well as Road Dogg, Ron Simmons, X-Pac's going to be there as well. And I heard as of today, Hulk Hogan will be there too.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And also Tatanka was supposed to be a part of it too, but he decided to drop out of it because he wants to go, I think his son's wrestling tournament or something along those lines. His son has like some kind of event to be a part of, and he wants to be there for that as opposed to the Raw 30th.
Nice, nice.
I respect that. I mean, in all honesty, like it'll be nice to see him and everything, but realistically, he's probably just going to be used for like some backstage segment or some shit, or like some like brief segment where they introduce him for like 30 seconds.
Right.
Yeah, but in any event, yes, in addition to the legends returning, we also have a couple major matches, including Becky Lynch against Bayley in a steel cage.
What?
Yep.
Oh, damn, I gotta.
They had a good segment together on Raw on Monday, the good back and forth.
Right.
Also,
Damn.
Austin Theory defending the United States title against Bobby Lashley.
Mm-hmm.
Which it's looking very likely that the Hurt Business is getting back together soon.
I saw a little picture of them, like in the background, them talking. I was like, "Am I seeing something?"
Yeah, it's very possible that they're getting back together. They're already planting the seeds for it.
Oh, hell yeah!
Hell yeah, indeed. And also, weirdly, for the Raw only tag team titles, is going to be the Usos defending against Damian Priest and the recently released convict Dominic Mysterio.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, he was only in a holding cell. Spare me, Jesus!
Hey, bro, the dude has street cred now. He has his own gang over there.
Oh, please! I don't want to hear that crap. The dude had a teardrop tattoo on his eye. I weak.
Bro, he has connections now. He probably had his own cell like designed for himself, and he earned those props in a very short time. Imagine what he's going to be doing in the next year in WWE. He's going to be holding it down.
Spare me.
He was like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption. He had the juice.
Oh.
I gotta say, I'm enjoying his character now. It's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, they had a they need to have a conclusion between him and Ray. They need to finish it off at WrestleMania, I believe. I think we both said that.
Yeah, they more than likely will. And it's weird now that they're having the Usos defend just the Raw titles only. So it's now I'm starting to get the feeling that they're gonna separate the belts.
They need to. They need to. Like you can't spread the wealth.
I'm just surprised they're doing it like this close to WrestleMania. Like after the Usos have held the belts for that long, they're gonna like split them up. Like now, like that WrestleMania is like right around the
You
corner.
know, I think the reason why they're doing it, Kurt, is because it is the 30th anniversary coming up on Monday. So they maybe want to, do it for that reason only. If there was no, let's just say there was no, it wasn't the 30th anniversary or whatnot, right? They probably would have not have done it. But I think they're doing it because of this, the purpose of what's going to happen on Monday.
I just knew Raw's ratings weren't gonna be that high this past Monday because of the football game.
Oh no, yeah, that was a given. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard Homeboy like missed 4 kicks during that game, but they still won.
Forward, I was like, damn, but anyway, but I am looking forward to Monday. I can't wait to see the Royal, watch the Royal Rumble because it is like a beginning. It's like that. It's really the beginning of the new year when you watch the Royal Rumble. I cannot wait to see the WrestleMania logo hung up.
And also what the WrestleMania theme song will be, and I'm just hoping it's not another weekend song.
It has to be no because he hasn't had anything new released.
At least not yet.
No, he wouldn't. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, because he's had this theme song of WrestleMania the last 3 years. They've never done that for any artist, not even Limp Bizkit, like when they were like heavy tight with them back in the day.
Yeah, they only did it twice, but it wasn't back to back.
But anyway, yeah, this Raw 30th anniversary, I'm just hoping it's better than that Raw 25-year anniversary show from a couple years ago.
Oh yeah. Whew.
Yeah, when they were like they were at the Barclays Center for half of it, and also at the Old Manhattan Center for the other half of it.
I remember that. Yeah, it's been wow.
And the people who went to the Manhattan Center part of it like paid like a whole bunch of money for the tickets, and they like only got like 3 matches or like 3 segments or whatever, and they were fucking pissed.
It's horrible.
Yeah, but I think this show should be better. It's only from one location. I like the logo a lot
Mm.
though. The throwback to the Roz War logo shit is mad dope.
That's why I said I hope they're gonna change up the set just for that night.
I hope they bring back that old theme song too.
Oh yeah. That
I'll never forget the Raw 10-year anniversary special they did back in '03. I remember that being fun too.
was oh hell, that was so fun.
They
Yeah.
were giving out all the awards
Yep.
and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And Triple H was salty that he didn't win Superstar of the Decade and he ended up walking out afterwards.
Oh, I think. Oh wow. Oh man.
And then The Rock appeared via satellite to like accept one of his awards, and then like the fans started booing him.
Oh yeah. This is when we're about the turn of his Hollywood heel rock.
Yep. I remember the awards they gave out too, like Superstar of the Decade, like Tell Me I Didn't Just See That.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Best Match on Raw, which was the TLC from Raw Roulette.
Right.
Yeah, I think we should get into like a few of our favorite like Raw moments and Raw matches real fast.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time I watched Raw was in the summer of '94, and it's funny during that summer one of the best matches in Raw history happened, and that was the title match between Bret Hart and the 1-2-3 Kid. Bro, if you had not seen this match, yo, that match is a classic. It's one of the 5 best matches that whole year.
He really took it to him. Surprisingly, it looked like when you watched that match, you kind of believed in him. Kind of like I think he could pull it off. And you got to remember, Brett was the champion during that time, so to see those two go at it, and how I like how it started. They mat wrestled with each other. Then it gets a little more intense later during the match, how it builds up. But yeah, 1-2-3 Kid. I'm sorry, took it to him in that match.
Yeah, I feel like before there was Rey Mysterio, there was him.
Mhm.
And yeah, he was working with all those top guys. He was working with Razor, he was working with Diesel, with Shawn, with Bret, with Owen. And he hung well with all of them. He had great matches with all
Yeah.
of them. Hell, even that year, that semifinal match in the King of the Ring with him and Owen, it's like the best 3-minute match you'll ever see.
Oh yeah.
Next to Goldberg and Brock from WrestleMania a few years ago. Yeah, those early years of Raw, there were in like a lot of like major angles that went down. that really like strike me, except for I guess maybe the 1 2 3 Kid upset of Razor Ramon being one. Oh yeah, and then there was the time when Sid turned on Sean the night after WrestleMania and like power bombed him 3 times.
I remember that.
And also Sean's concussion angle when like Owen kicked him in the back of the head and then he collapsed and he made it like seem like it was real and they had him like taken out on a stretcher. You know he had to like sign like an actual doctor's release.
Yeah, no.
Shit was crazy, man.
Yeah, that was really. He wanted to make it as real as possible, though, even though it wasn't, though. But that just showed you and it was live. You know what I mean? And just to show the realism of that whole, segment by alone by itself was just madness.
Yeah, and then one of the first like really real segments we got like or like I guess you could say a prelude to the Attitude Era was when Austin tried to break into Brian Pillman's house and then Brian Pillman pulled a gun out on him.
Yeah, and then the USA Network was not happy about that at all.
Could not believe that shit happened when I saw it. Like when Pillman pulled out that gun, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never seen some shit like that before on wrestling, and in a way, I'm kind of happy we haven't since.
Can't imagine they did something like that.
There are certain things that like are fine for entertainment purposes, but go too far. Like for instance, I was watching the 2003 Royal Rumble yesterday, and I was watching like the promo package for the Tori Wilson and Dama rematch, and the storyline, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I could tolerate it. But then when they killed him off, like on the honeymoon, and they had like a whole funeral for him and all that shit, I'm like, come on now, this shit is too fucking far.
That was weird. And then
She was so bad. That she was so bad.
I know. And then I think something similar to that. I think the whole like Triple H and Kane storyline where they had the Katie Vick thing, that was just weird to me.
Or when Vince tried to fake his own death, like when he goes into the limo and it explodes.
That was right there. That right there was like a weird raw moment because I remember he was in the ring. He had a segment, and then he leaves. But it was just it was like it was an awkward something. It was like it was very awkward. Like you knew something was gonna happen. He's walking throughout the arena, and everybody is just staring at him, right? And
Yeah.
then he walks outside, and he kind of just like I'm saying to myself like, what's going on? And I was like, is this how Raw's gonna end? Like, how is it gonna end? And then he goes in his limo, and then the camera zooms out, and then as soon as he closes the door, then boom, there's an explosion. And I was like, dude, what the hell just happened? It was like, what just happened? It was just that was a weird segment that I saw. It was probably one of the weirdest things that I've ever seen. It was just because I know why they were doing it though, but they literally had to scratch that because literally like a week later, then Benoit passed away, and then it was weird because I was watching Raw the next week and I see Vince is there. I was like, why is Vince there? And this dude literally just supposedly died in a limo explosion. He's there the following week talking about Chris Benoit. So I thought that was just very awkward to see, very weird.
Yeah, that was just a weird year in general.
It was, yeah. Especially that summer of '07, yeah. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and just flat out say just my best Raw moment was actually me going to my very first Raw event back in 2005. It was the night after SummerSlam. Just being there, my first wrestling event, being there live the night after SummerSlam, seeing everybody there. The You're Fired match between John Cena and Chris Jericho, how that ended. That was just a very fun moment. That whole night was just a fun moment for me to be a part of.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. The one Raw, the Raw I went to for the first time, although it was a tape show, it was in May of '99. Like the one that would air the week before the for the Over the Edge where Owen died.
Mhm.
Yo, that show was so lit. Even the Sunday Night Heat they take before Raw was freaking lit, and just that the whole fireworks display they had just the fan enthusiasm, all the freaking top stars they had there from Austin, Rock, Taker, Triple H, Kane, Mankind. Yo, there was nothing like being at Raw during that era. Yo, there was nothing like it on Earth. That's by far one of the 5 best wrestling shows I ever went to. No
Yeah,
competition.
Yeah.
It was a great night, bro. It was just a great night. And even the shit that would happen when Raw went off the air, the shit that would happen when Raw went off the air was as crazy, if not crazier, than the shit that would happen when it would be on TV.
And it's funny because I have like a like you know like the best of the Attitude Era DVDs still around here in my room, and they have a lot of clips from off the air, after Raw will go off the air. So yeah, it was just a lot of crazy stuff that they did out off the air. I think honestly, if I had to say what's my favorite segment that's like outside of the ring when it came to Raw, I love the whole Undertaker and Paul Bearer trying to embalm Austin. That whole segment was just crazy, scary in a way, but crazy because Austin's in the hospital because he had a concussion from getting hit with a shovel from the Undertaker the week before, and then he's in the hospital. Next thing you know, like you see a hearse pulls up in front of the hospital, and you see Undertaker choking out Austin, and they take him out of the hospital. They're trying to do something to him, and then next thing you know, they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna bomb him, and JR's freaking the hell out throughout the whole entire night, and you're just like, what the hell are they gonna wait? They're gonna do what? They bring him into like a mortuary, like funeral home or whatever, and then Austin's unconscious. It was scary to see that, and then like Taker's about to embalm him, and next thing you know, Kane comes in at the last minute. That whole segment was just, it was scary but good in a way.
Yeah, that whole Attitude Era period. A lot of it didn't age well, but damn, did we get a lot of fun shit from it too.
It was just very entertaining. That's what we needed. You know what I mean? And it was Monday Night Raw, and and it was live, and it was just that what Raw was. Raw was just different from any other WWE show that you watched growing up. It was just kind of like in your face, live, boom. They're doing it, doing something that other people don't do. That's what it was to me.
Yeah, and there was a few year periods like during that Attitude Era period where like it would do higher ratings than Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that shit would not happen today. No way. I just talked about it a few minutes ago about how Raw's ratings were like super low, especially because of the NFL game.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, that 97 to 2001 period of Raw was just fire.
It was.
And
Um,
97, I feel like was a real turning point where like they had the Brett and anti-America stable, and also him and his issues with Sean were like being displayed on TV with them like taking like real jabs at each other and like real shots at each other. And then the rise of Austin, obviously. And then Foley started like really coming into his own with like those interviews he was doing with JR. Yo, it's crazy how those interviews with JR like really was like a real turning point for him and like really helped him gain a connection with the audience that like he didn't have before. And also, honestly, he's even admitted himself like those interview segments are what like won Vince over with him.
hmm.
Yeah, those were a big deal. Like you really got to know the dude in a way you never had before because he was like telling his real life story, but as the mankind character.
Right. Right.
Yeah, shit was mad interesting now that I look at it. Yeah, it was a nice little twist. But yeah, that Bret and anti-America stable was great. And then you see The Rock join the nation and finally become a bad guy and like really start to show more of his personality. And then just from that point on, the rest was history.
Yeah.
And now NBC has a sitcom about it.
Yep. It was just really funny how they went. There were a couple hit and misses with that episode that they did about him when the Rock is starting to gain that popularity because like they were mentioning stuff that he did, like they're in 97, but they were talking about stuff that he did like in
2003.
yeah, like 99 and all that stuff. They're talking about how like, oh, like you remember when you did the people's elbow to Undertaker and he rose up and you kicked him. I was like, dude, they're talking about something that was like the year after.
Yeah, and they play his freaking theme song from 2000.
That was weird, but I know.
Yeah, they
I know.
stay doing that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the most recent episode, they show him doing the rock concert. I'm like, bro, he didn't do this shit until 2003, and he didn't even have a full head of hair at the time either.
I know.
Yeah, I like the show, but yo, the historical inaccuracy on it is freaking ridiculous.
I know. I know. And Kurt, trust me, we're not the only ones who's saying this. So We're
I
not.
still enjoy it. I've kind of like learned to like not get like upset about it anymore. But
Yeah,
just when I see it a lot of the times, I'm like, holy shit.
yeah. I'm trying to think because we talk a lot about Attitude Era.
We haven't really
The
scratched the surface as much though, because '98, the Austin and Tyson segment, bro, that shit was all over the news. I had never seen like wrestling really be on the news like that before. But then when Tyson came along and they showed him and Austin interacting, and then the shit with DX like a month later when he pretended that he joined, yo, I knew by that point like wrestling was like in a different stratosphere than it had been since I had started watching.
right.
Because like when I started watching like in '94, obviously it wasn't that popular, it wasn't that mainstream. But then like by '98, like during that period with the Tyson stuff, I'm like, damn, this shit is serious now. This shit is like really starting to become a part of pop culture. And then after that WrestleMania with Tyson and Austin and everything, it was just off to the races from there. And then obviously we got the Austin and Vince feud, and fuck, man, some that shit pretty much made the company a public company.
It
Not when you
did.
really think about it.
It did.
That whole feud made wrestling a part of pop culture again.
You know what? Because you know how strong Raw was during the Attitude Era. We knew how, and ruthless aggression still held its own too on Raw. But I'm like afterwards, because I've always talked about how weird 2008 was. I think the only good moment, there's only like a couple good moments from 2008 when it came to Raw. I think Flair's retirement, his last night, his retirement, that was a good
That was
moment.
great. That was a
That was
great segment.
that was a great segment. I think the one that really sticks out to me the most, I think the surprising one was CM Punk cashing in on Edge on Raw because that was so unexpected and it was early in the show. It was literally within 30 minutes of the show. Edge comes out and then Batista comes in and he beats up Edge and then when Batista leaves, CM Punk out of nowhere just comes out and cashes in on Edge. That was like, what just happened? I was like, what? But
And and I'll throw one more in there. The night Jericho turned on Shawn and like smashed his head through the Jeritron 3000.
oh shit, yes,
You know,
yeah. Oh
the
my
beginning of
god,
that
yeah.
'08 heel run.
It was eerie to look at because he didn't just turn heel, the fact that he broke the Geratron 5000 screen, Kurt. That was like the end of Y2J.
I wasn't even watching at the time, but just like seeing how it went
I
down
was,
that
yeah.
way, it's like, yo, this shit is very compelling.
I mean, that year was weird for me though, but I think that rivalry between Jericho and Shawn Michaels, that was like one of the rivalries that kind of like it was able to help hold up. Kind of like, okay, this is like good. Same thing with Edge and Undertaker. That was about it though. But I mean, other than that, I mean, I think, and then after like about a year later, that's when I stepped away from wrestling. Um,
Yeah, I would say after 2008, that's been like the dark years of Raw, and I feel like with a few exceptions, it's been in that phase ever since.
do you remember? Do you remember? I know we weren't watching wrestling at the time, but I was hearing stuff. Do you remember in 2010 where every week they had a guest celebrity? I thought that was weird.
That was 2009 and 2010. Yeah, I
Oh, it
remember.
started in 2009. Okay, all right, okay. I thought that was just weird.
I remember like hearing about it and like maybe seeing bits and pieces of it. Like on times I would like flip through
Oh,
the channels. I remember one time they had Jerry Springer as the guest host, and they had like a Jerry Springer show segment in the ring. I'm like, what the fuck happened to this show?
oh God! When I was
I
hearing,
changed it. They had like Great Khali, like they had like two girls like fighting over Great Khali and all this other stupid nonsense. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not gonna lie, like that 2009 period on, like with the exception of like 2000, I would say 13 and maybe 16. Raw for the most part hasn't been the greatest
it hasn't.
in like the last decade or so.
When I saw stuff like that, Kurt, it really reminded me, like, yeah, this is why I left. You know what I mean? And I kind of just like, man, I was just ashamed. Like, where have we come?
let's get back into some of the better years for real fast. I mean, obviously the Austin and McMahon feud was white hot. Then you had The Rock like really break out on his own after he leaves the nation and he pretty much becomes like the second guy in the company.
Hmm.
So instead of just having Austin as the top guy, you have Austin and Rock as the top guys,
Yeah,
and that roster was just so stacked. You had the two of them. You had Taker. You had Kane. You had Mankind, Triple H, and DX.
yeah. But you know what year had the best roster though?
2000, 2000.
Yes,
Even
yes.
with Austin being out with an injury, that roster was so stacked and just so fire from top to bottom. Like everything was interesting.
Yeah.
Everything was fun to watch. It was like rarely anything you'd want to skip through. Yeah, that's probably my favorite year of Raw and wrestling and WWE in general was 2000.
Same here, same here. And you know what was weird with everything that was perfect that year? The only weird thing from that year was seeing Raw move from the USA Network to TNN. I thought that was like
Oh shit, that did happen that year. That's right. That did happen in
yeah,
2000.
like in like the summer of 2000, like September, I
It was
believe.
after SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Yeah, after SummerSlam.
yeah, I was just like, they moved to a different channel. I was like, huh? I was like, this TNN. Like, what the fuck is TNN? I was like, it was weird. Like, nobody knew what TNN was.
I mean, they knew what it was, but it wasn't popular.
No, of course. I mean, yeah, of course not. And then next thing you know, like it took them about what a couple of years for them to for that channel to gain that identity because they had Raw, so the channel itself had to change. They brought this other different content to their channel. Next thing you know, I'm not only watching Raw, I'm watching other shows that they had on that channel, and they ended up changing it to Spike TV. But yeah, it was just like I think it was because of them moving to Raw, that whole channel, that whole network got a whole new makeover a couple years, moving in. So, but yeah, it was weird seeing them move from USA Network though.
Yeah, probably the two most memorable Raw moments that year were probably the time Bubba Ray power bomb Mae Young off the top of the stage through the table. Bro, talk about your oh my god moments.
Yeah.
I remember when Devon was gonna push her off the wheelchair off of the stage, and then Bubba stopped her. I'm like, oh shit, I don't like where this is going. And then when Devon picks her up to put her on Bubba the power bomber, I'm like, fuck, they're not really gonna do this shit, are they? And then when he jumps off of that stage onto the ground, I'm like, fuck. Oh my, they're taking this freaking power bombing chicks thing through the table to like a whole new level, man.
Mhm.
I think that should have been voted feud of the year: Bubba Ray Dudley versus the female women's roster in WWE.
Oh my god.
And then also that episode when Jericho won the title briefly when like Earl Hebner did the fast count
Yeah.
and he had the title
Yeah.
for like maybe 20 minutes or so.
Hmm. Remember that?
Yeah, that was Triple H's bad night. They had that, but then they eventually reversed it and gave it back to Triple H. But then later that night on Raw, you found out Austin was going to be in Rock's corner for the match at Backlash. That was a fun episode of Raw. Now that I think about it, I went to the episode the week before, but my seats kind of sucked, so it kind of took away from it.
At least you were there though.
Yeah, it was. And then '99, it got a little too out of control and too fucking weird for its own good. But we did get the Rock and Sock Connection tag team. We also got the beer bath on the McMahons and the Rock.
Yeah. I think that was. I think honestly that was the whole build up. I think those early months of '99, like pretty much like January all the way up until I say like April was like the fun time. That was like my favorite time in '99 on Raw.
Hell yeah, except for JR's heel turn.
Oh yeah, that was weird. That was so weird and just random. Like why? What was like, huh? And he had his own announce table, and that I was just like, what's the whole like point of this? And this is going into WrestleMania. This is like Bill. I was like, oh man, that was weird. Oh
And then we had the revealing of the higher power.
yeah, that one was like that. That was a storyline where it started off good, and then you kind of like, huh? You were expecting something else. You expecting to be someone else. So people were assuming that it was Jake the Snake Roberts, but it turned out the whole entire time it was Vince. That was just so weird. It didn't end the way that I thought it would.
It didn't end the way anybody thought it would.
Was it surprising? Yes, it was, but it didn't turn out the way that I thought it was. I thought it was like this is what like what?
The only thing I'll say I like about that reveal was like the way Vince said, "It's me, Austin. It was me. Oh, Allah." Yeah, but anyway, yeah, they had that, and they also had the Test and Stephanie wedding where Triple H interrupted it to show the video of him marrying Stephanie when she was drugged up at the drive-through wedding chapel.
My birthday. On my birthday.
Yeah, that was a crazy ass segment, man.
My eighth was that my eighth birthday?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, yes, yeah, my eighth birthday. Yep.
I could not believe he pulled that shit off the way he did. That was the first Rock Staples Center too.
Yeah.
But yeah, 99 got a little too out of control and too crazy, but it still had some of those moments that I mentioned. And then obviously 2001, the simulcast. I would have never thought in a million years I would see like Raw and Nitro like on the same channel at the same time, or like Vince talking over Nitro and like over people on WCW TV. Yeah, it was just surreal, man. It was surreal to think that like, yo, this is really the end of the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah. And it started off that way. It was weird. It was just like so unexpected. You thought this was something that was like, okay, is this just like a joke? But no, it was really real. Was actually happening.
Yeah, and I know they did the angle where like Shane showed up at Nitro and he announced that he like owned WCW. But like, damn, it was really the end of an era, and I hate to say it, wrestling just in general wasn't hasn't been the same since.
No.
It was by far one of the worst things to ever happen to wrestling was WCW going under.
True.
Very true.
I think that year, I think 2001 as a year period was a little bit weird because it was the end of the Attitude Era. Austin had was a heel majority of that year. That was weird seeing that. The whole invasion storyline was just like that's something that I don't really like to look back on.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It was a huge letdown, huge, gigantic letdown.
It was, and then I think The Rock coming back. I thought that was a good moment.
Oh yeah, when he came back to announce that he joined the WWE side as opposed to the Alliance's side.
Yeah. Um, Shocking moment for me, honestly, on Raw for that year was seeing Taker turn heel.
But even though the invasion storyline kind of like was whack and was underwhelming, the one good thing that did come out of it was that night after Survivor Series. I remember that episode of Raw being fun, like when Vince fired Heyman and then Jerry Lawler came back,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then Vince had William Regal kiss his ass.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, and Flair showed up. That's the night Flair showed up too at the end of the show.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a fun episode. Now that I look at it, that was one of the better episodes that whole year, I think.
Yeah, that's when like the invasion's finally over, and you finally it's starting to turn a new leaf going into the new year. You got promises going into the new year. You hear about well, not yet exactly. The following month, then you hear about Triple H returning, and you kind of have promises for the upcoming year, 2002.
Let's get into that one. 2002, one of the best moments that year was when Triple H returned at Madison Square Garden. Damn, that ovation was so out of this world.
Words cannot describe how like excited and happy I was because I was really looking forward to that night for weeks building up. You saw the video packages, and it was just absolutely amazing. And you already knew that he was going to win the Royal Rumble that year, and he did. So,
Yeah, it was a great moment, man. I'm sure it was even more special for him, considering the fact that he broke down and cried afterwards.
oh, can't blame him.
Yeah, but I'm into that real fast. One of the best matches in Raw history was actually that match where he did tear his quad. That match with him and Austin against Jericho and Benoit, that match is great.
It was.
Even with the quad injury aside and all that, yo, that's a good ass match. Like if you haven't seen that match in a while, I suggest to go back and watch it. And then also another memorable moment from that year, one of my favorites was the Rock and Hogan segment.
Yes, and I was in Chicago.
Yep, I was in Chicago to make the match at Mania official. Yeah, that shit was electric, bro.
I think what they did announcing the match was historic, and then surprisingly, people rarely talk about what happened after that.
Yeah, because that shit was overkill. The whole NWO attacking him and then like running the monster truck into like the ambulance that he's in. It was
God,
overkill.
I was just like, good God, I was like,
Yeah, they can lay him out. That's fine. Like when they beat him up into the NWO like spray paint shit, that was fine. But then when they like rammed the fucking monster truck into his ambulance, I'm like, bro, come on, get the fuck out of here.
that was.
All right, but anyway, great segment nonetheless. But one thing that kind of did lead Raw into a different direction that year was the official brand split.
That whole episode was fun.
That whole episode was fun. It was nice to see Raw get like a different set. I feel like it was kind of time for one. Although I did like that Attitude Era set, I feel like it was definitely time to switch
It
things up,
was.
and it looked dope. It's funny, I never saw that set live and in person.
That set, I love that set. I miss it. Good memories though. But that whole that yeah, the whole entire that whole draft episode was fun. That was one of my favorite moments from that year.
Especially Undertaker's reaction when he finds out that Flair drafted him.
That was the best. That was the best. That's when you knew. See, that's what I miss about the drive. I know we're getting off topic, but that's like one of the things I miss about the drive. I miss that if you got drafted to a show, you kind of like you weren't happy about it instead of like, oh, okay, I'm gonna go. Like, no. Oh man. I have to tell you what my two favorite draft episodes on Raw was 2002 and 2004. Those are my top two. Those are like my two favorite.
Oh yeah, they were both great, especially the 2004 one.
Yeah.
2004 one was also fun.
Triple H's reaction getting drafted to SmackDown, he was like, "What?" He spat out his water.
And then he politicked his way out of it.
Yeah, he actually did.
Yeah, because that's when what's his name Heyman spit that line at JBL saying the only reason why you were champion for a year is because Triple H didn't want to work on Tuesday.
On ECW, one night stand.
Yeah. Also, a crazy ass moment that happened in 2002 on Raw was when Vince announced Eric Bischoff as the new general manager of it.
Oh my god.
My
Yeah.
only beef with that whole segment was that they kind of gave it away with Eric Bischoff like interrupting Booker T's interview right before.
Oh, I don't remember that one, but
When Booker T's like, "Tell me I didn't just see that." When I first saw his face on screen, I'm like, "Oh shit, no fucking way!" But yeah, I feel like they should have saved the surprise for when he actually got introduced. But whatever, still, regardless, yo, that shit was. You want to talk about shocking and like you never thought you would see the day?
right. Especially after them two, what they've been through with each other over the past, few years, and you see this, like. But guess what, though? Having Eric Bischoff as a general manager role, oh my god, you hated him, but you love the entertainment side of it because you love what you saw. And every time I look back at it, like, damn, I miss it.
Yeah, he definitely became a better character, like an on-screen character during that period.
Of course, of course, of course.
Yeah, but just him, Vince announcing him as the GM, you're like, there were people legit pissed off backstage about all of this, like, because there were people from WCW who had like bad memories
Mhm.
of working with him, who were like, "Yo, why the fuck are they bringing this guy in?"
Yeah. Hmm.
But Triple H broke it down, saying that Vince hugging Bischoff and like raising his hand was kind of like a message to everybody, saying, "If I can hug him, you guys can at least work with him."
True. That's a good point.
Interesting. I remember Lawler saying like on commentary when Vince introduced Bischoff, he's like saying, "I used to sit in the same broadcast booth with Vince McMahon, and he would literally wish death on Eric Bischoff, and now this dude's working here."
Right. But I tell you what, though, Eric, through the time that he was there, for the 3 years he was there, he really brought too much change to that brand. When you look back at the things that he did, he brought back the World Heavyweight Championship belt.
That he gave away.
Okay, we're not going to get into that, Kurt. Come on, he brought it back. That's the point. Okay. At that time, I really liked that championship belt more than I liked the WWE Championship during that time, during that era. I just like it because it was the World Heavyweight Championship belt. They did a. Now I'm just not talking about Raw. Like the company itself did a really good job. It was like they made that their number one title. It felt like, okay, that's the one that I want over the WWE Championship. he introduced the Elimination Chamber match. And this is during a time where yeah, this is the brand split. This is where they're competing with SmackDown, even though SmackDown was the better show during 2002, 2003. But like the fact that Raw was doing these things, at least showing the effort to do these things, that shows a lot. And Eric Bischoff was responsible for that. I remember he brought in the Raw Roulette night. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that TLC that night was a lot of fun. The only really bad thing I'll say about that whole TLC was what happened after the match. The reveal of the Katie Vick shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but the less we say about that, the better. But then '03, we got Hollywood Rock for a brief, even though it was brief. That was like one of the best versions of Rock we ever saw. But damn, it did not last long enough.
No, it didn't. You got to remember. He's caught up with his. Remember he's acting. You know what I mean. So, but yeah, even though it was brief, and we wish it was longer though. But you got to remember he had other commitments at the time. So, but it was very fun.
Yeah, that and then like him being the Hollywood Rock character did bring us the debut of Goldberg
Yeah.
the night after Mania.
Yeah. I think the biggest shocker of 2003 was Kane taking his mask off.
Yeah, I was about to get into that. That was a crazy ass night. That segment alone,
And that was in Madison Square Garden.
and that would start the summer of Kane, where he was pretty much like on a rampage. Like he chokeslammed Eric Bischoff off of the stage. He tombstone Linda McMahon. He like tortured Shane McMahon. Yo, he was on one. He set Jim Ross on fire.
Yeah.
Dude was on one.
Scary.
Yeah, but like him unmasking, like you never thought it would happen, but then that night when it happened, and at Madison Square Garden of all places, it's like damn, only on Monday Night Raw. Oh, that was also the same night that started the feud between Orton and Mick Foley started.
Mm-hmm,
When he
mm-hmm.
kicked him on the steps.
Yeah. Wow.
And then yeah, Goldberg debut the night after Mania. I mean, that was pretty much the highlight of his whole year there. I was actually watching a video, JR's podcast about Goldberg's run in WWE during that time. Other than that night when he debuted and like speared The Rock, it was just all downhill from there.
I wouldn't necessarily I don't know. It's ooh.
They did that bullshit when Gold does put the wig on him. And then the match with Rocket, I think like in the build for the match with Rocket Backlash, he tried to chase The Rock out of the arena and he tried to start his car. He was trying like to open the car door, like start the car like multiple times and it wouldn't go. And the shit like just dragged on. And then the match with Rock, he actually got booed. I don't know if you remember, like during that match, he got
No.
booed.
I know Rock got a good reception though, but I don't remember Goldberg. See, it's because I haven't watched that show in a long time, and I don't want to because it's so bad. But damn, oh
Yeah, and then at SummerSlam they had Goldberg like dominate everybody just to lose to Triple H from the sledgehammer shot at the end. And then by the time he did win the belt the next month, it just like wasn't the same.
yeah.
And then I don't know if you know this story, but after Armageddon '03 backstage, like he threw like a huge fit
I
backstage and like
read
threw a
about
huge
that.
tantrum and like
Yeah,
started like throwing shit all over the
I
place.
remember
And
that.
that's why they did the storyline the next night where he got suspended for a month because of that.
Yeah, I remember that. I read about that not too long ago. Yeah. Oy, oof.
And then obviously the match at WrestleMania with Brock when it was both of their last nights in the company. Yeah, that shit was just a disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did get one good moment in the last few years of Raw, like when he did come back, like in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2016 also had some good moments. There was like that. That was the year they started the brand split all over again. And then I would say my favorite moment that whole year was the return of Shane McMahon.
Yeah, that was a good moment. It was because we
Great.
haven't seen him in God knows how long, in long time. But seeing him come back and that was a good moment.
Yeah, it was definitely a much needed moment at that too. And also in 2016 we had that 4-way where Triple H helped Kevin Owens win the title.
Oh Lord, that was I
That shit was
think
crazy, man.
for me that was I had to be the shocking moment for that year for me because that was so unexpected because it looked like Rollins was about to win. Triple H is out there and he instead of helping him, he turns on him. So completely unexpected. I was like, what just happened? You know what I mean? And wow.
Yeah, and Kevin Owens won the title that night. His only title reign so far, but damn, that night was crazy. That was a good moment too, though. Seeing him get the belt, I know like it was under like unfortunate circumstances with what happened to Finn Balor, but yeah, it was a good moment to see, and I liked the whole storyline he had with Jericho afterwards, especially the Festival of Friendship.
Could we easily say that was the most shocking Raw moment of 2017?
Yeah, that was probably one of the best Raw moments of the last decade. Honestly, was that whole segment and then the ending.
Yeah, and they took their time with that one.
Yeah, that was the best part about it. They took their time, and it's funny. Jericho had a fight with Triple H about the one part where, like, he says, like, "Why is my name on the list?" And then you see like Kevin Owens' name on the front of the list, and that's when Owens attacks him. He had a fight to have that part in there because they wanted to have like Kevin Owens just randomly attack him, and Jericho like stood his ground and say like, "No, that we're doing it this way."
Right. Vince was gone, and he was like, "Well, this." I was like, "Well, this is my segment," and blah blah blah. And I'm glad that he fought and was able to get the do what he wanted to do for that segment. So, and that was in Las Vegas too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was here. It was in Vegas, the T-Mobile Arena.
I didn't. I don't know why I didn't go. Did I have to work that night? I'm not for sure though. But yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, but it's just a shame that that whole segment was like the highlight of the whole feud because we all know at Mania like it did not get the treatment that it deserved to say the very least.
Well, as Jericho has stated, he wished that match would have went first. It would have been different if it would have went first, I guess.
Yeah, I get that, but I just feel like it should have been higher on the card, and also I feel like it should have been for the title.
True.
Goldberg and Brock didn't need to be for the title.
No, it didn't. You're absolutely right on that one.
That's another story for another time, but
Yeah.
yeah, then like
Okay.
oh 04 was all right. Oh 04 had its moments here and there.
The highlight of that year, Kurt, from 2004 was Evolution turned on Randy Orton.
Yes, yes, that was a major moment.
Completely unexpected because Orton he literally just won the title the night before, unexpectedly, shockingly, against Chris Benoit at SummerSlam. He has his own celebration, and then he gets pretty much forced into a rematch with Benoit. He ends up winning again. Okay, Triple H, Flair, Batista's out there celebrating with him and all that stuff, and Orton's on Batista's shoulders, and then Triple H has the thumbs up, and then slowly went thumbs down, and you could just see that despair, shocked look on Orton's face, and it was just seeing that was just like, what's going on? And then Batista slams him down, and they're just beating him up, and Orton's busted up and bleeding, and it was shocking because you never thought you'll see something like that.
Yeah, I will agree. That was probably the most shocking, and I think probably the best segment of Raw that whole year. That nobody saw that shit coming.
Yeah. I mean, I like the following week. I like how Orton spat in Triple H's face. I thought that was a funny moment too, though. But that one before that, when Evolution turned on Orton, that was just like, what?
Yeah, because for first off, you didn't see Orton winning the title coming, and then right after that, the next night on Raw, the whole crew turns on him.
Yeah.
Shit was crazy. And then also I would say the other highlight of oh 04 was the Lita and Trish match that main evented Raw.
Oh my God, yes. I easily I have to say that's like my favorite match of the year on Raw.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. And also oh 05.
That one. I'm sorry, that one and Jericho versus Christian in a cage match on Raw. That's one of my top two favorite.
Also, Benoit and Triple H had an Iron Man match that year that was good too.
Oh shit! Damn that! Oh damn it! Too that! Oh, that was a good. Oh man! Ooh.
I feel like that was the era of like good matches on Raw, like that match, the Undertaker and Jeff Hardy ladder match.
Yeah, because you got to remember that. Let's be real, Kurt. The Attitude Era, they didn't. You didn't. There was. Let's be real. They had matches where you didn't really get a finish. They didn't focus on their craft and the technique in their matches when you look back at it. When you get into the Ruthless Aggression era, now you're more focused on the critiqueness and the craftness of your matches. Now you're having finishes to your matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I didn't like the Ruthless Aggression era as much as the Attitude Era, entertainment wise, but match quality wise, I will say it was definitely the better era.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say another one of my favorite years of Raw was oh 05 because with oh 05 we got the segment on Raw when Batista turned on Triple H when he did the thumbs down to him.
And that was another storyline that took its time.
Yeah, that was very well done, and when they the way they paid it off that night, gold.
They literally took their time. They really were taking their time. Like, okay, who is Batista going to go to? And they're trying to play off the, oh, he's going to face JBL. And the whole entire time, even though JBL was talking smack to Batista, he really wasn't trying to have a match with him. And Triple H was trying to like swerve Batista to go there because he didn't want to face Triple H for the title. And it was just a whole like what this swerve thing going on. You're like, it's what's going on? And then next thing you know, the whole entire time, Batista wanted to challenge Triple H for the title. And I loved it. I loved every moment of that segment. The draft, they did the draft different because each week, whether it was Raw or SmackDown, you had somebody announcing, I picked this person instead of having it the whole thing on one show. So John Cena was the first pick on Jericho's highlight reel. That was just like, wow, like Cena's on Raw. I was like, don't get me wrong, I miss him on SmackDown, no, but having him on Raw, man, that was wow. Like,
Yeah, you didn't see it coming, and like as the first pick, and like and up to that point, they never switched the champions to like a different show. So it was like definitely a message saying like, yo, things are gonna change now, and they did.
I like that briefly. It was only brief, but having both John Cena and Batista on Raw for that brief moment of time was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess so. And then also you had like Sean turn on Hogan in that tag match, and then you had that brief period when Sean was a heel.
Oh God! Oh, especially the episode in Montreal,
Oh shit,
and
that was crazy.
they tease Bret Hart returning.
Oh man.
That shit was funny.
Yeah, I loved '05. '05 was a fun year for Raw. And then the next year, we had one of the highest rated segments in Raw in years with the Edge and Lita sex celebration.
Oh Lord, that
Oh,
was
man. I
crazy.
can't believe they did this shit. I can't believe they did that shit.
This is after Edge won the title.
Yeah, and the way he won the title at that, too.
Yeah. Ooh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking. And such a shame, man. With all that momentum, they took the title off of him 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Ah, well, you can't dream forever, but I have a buy or sell for you on like Money in the Bank cash ins on Raw. Which one was better? The one when CM Punk cashed in on Edge, or the one when Dolph Ziggler cashed in on Alberto Del Rio?
Shit. I'm still going with Punk versus Edge because look, I like Alberto Del Rio as a competitor, as a superstar and talent wise, but outside the stuff that he did outside of just no. But anyway, I don't know. Edge had just way more heat with the fans. Punk just it was more surprising for me and more exciting to see that moment. I'm not taking anything away from Dolph Ziggler. I think that moment was really good too, though. When you look back at their first world title reigns, it really wasn't like two. Number one, it wasn't like long enough. It didn't really get the credit as it deserved. It didn't really get much of a title reign that we expected. But for those moments, they were both great moments. But that CM Punk one is the one that really like sticks out to me the most because it was really surprising, came out of nowhere, and it just like what's this, like, you know what I mean? And it was like a really feel good moment for me. I still like that one.
I get it. The Ziggler one, it was just the fact that it was the day after WrestleMania and he had the briefcase for so long and the crowd reaction, like just when he comes out alone, that shit was wild, man. And then when he finally wins, yo, it was a great moment. I know his title reign didn't go well afterwards, but yo, that moment was something special.
It
And
was.
definitely by far the highlight of his career. No
Oh,
competition.
hands down, hands down, hands down.
That was honestly that was probably better than anything on WrestleMania the night before. Yeah, crazy ass moments on Raw over the years, crazy ass matches, memories, and it's funny. Most of the moments we've talked about were like from the beginning up until 2008, because obviously one of the worst things I think to happen in Raw in the last like decade or so was obviously the move to 3 hours, and just ever since then it's gotten worse and worse.
Yeah, wasn't a good move, but
Yeah, we've had great moments despite that, great matches despite that, but just overall the quality of the show just has not been as good since. I hate to say it, but it's true.
Real quick, last thing before we leave. Favorite Raw theme song?
The Roz War one.
Okay.
And favorite opening too.
Okay. Um, it's a horse race between that one and the Across the Nation theme song. It's those two. Those are the ones where, like, damn. When I think about Raw, that's what I think about.
Yeah, that was
Um,
another thing that changed in 2002. Yeah, it was the theme song also. And I don't want to say I liked it as much, but it was a dope song too.
I loved it. Oh, I loved it. It made me hyped up just as much as Thorn in Your Eye. That was the Thorn in Your Eye. That was the name of the song for the one they used in the
Raw.
Attitude Era.
Yeah.
Um, but it got me hyped up just as much as that one. You know what I mean? That's what you need. I did not like the band, the one they used in 2006. Moving forward, I didn't like that. I didn't care too much for that one.
The less we talk about some of those years' theme songs, the better. But in any event, yeah, Raw 30th is going to be this coming Monday. And also, there's one person I think that should be there, and I think that person should be Austin because when I think of like the show Raw, or like the person who I would say is the face of Raw, it would be Austin, hands down.
Yeah. And I think he needs to be there, kind of like redeem himself, because remember what happened a couple years ago during the pandemic with the no fans. That was weird for him, and I felt bad for him.
That's all. It was only one night. It's all right. I mean, it's not the end of the world. It sucked, obviously, but
I know, but he needs. You're right. He does need to be out there this upcoming Monday.
yeah, he was literally the face of Raw for so many years. Like when you think of like all the like the really good years of Raw, like the really or like when Raw was at its peak, just rating wise, and just the company being hot in general, you gotta say Austin
Yeah.
and Rock. You could throw in there too to a degree.
Mhm.
Just too bad Jim Ross can't be there because he was the voice of that show for like literally a decade.
Yep.
Him and Lawler.
Hmm. Man.
But yes, we have Raw 30th this coming Monday, the Royal Rumble next Saturday. We'll be back next week with our Rumble prediction show. And hopefully, this new year, despite the black cloud over WWE with the whole Vince stuff, hopefully it's things that will get resolved and get that black cloud away sooner than later.
Try not to overthink it. Just that's all I've been saying.
Only time will tell what happens in the weeks to come. But until then, for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of Clash of Champions, and we will see you guys next week. Take care.
Later.